Hi, this is Becky Nunn, and some of you might recognize these earrings. These are on the cover of our master catalog that is now current. And I have had a lot of questions on how this right here is attached, how the deerskin lace is attached to the jump ring. So these are our ribbon end leather connectors is what they're called, and they come in a 5mm and a 3mm, about this size right here. And you insert the leather, whatever dimension you're working with. This is the 5mm deerskin lace in the chocolate. You insert it inside of the connector and then you crimp it shut. So before I show you how to do that, let me go ahead and just show you some examples of other ways. Here it is where I've taken both ends of the leather and have looped them together and then used the connector to finish it. But I've also used it many times, like on the very ends of a necklace, like on this necklace here. Just did a simple loop on the top here where this is connected onto all of the dangles hanging off. And then to finish off the end, I used the ribbon end leather connectors down on the very end to attach them, crimped them down, and then applied. Sometimes you can use a little glue in there, but I haven't really found it's so necessary. And then had put the lobster clasp and a small jump ring on the other side to close it off. And let's see, what else? Here's a fun way in which I used the ribbon end connector to create a loop on both ends. So there's a loop attaching it onto the organic hoop right here, and then another where it's attached using the lobster clasp, so I can attach it on like this. This is a case where I had a 3-fold inside of that connector, and that was kind of complicated. Let me just show you. So it was 1, 2, 3 deep like this. So there was a loop on this end and a loop on that one, and I can show you how to do that in addition. And then here's another example used on this sample here. I used the ribbon connector on the very end here to create a loop so that I could attach a jump ring, and then on the lobster clasp for this end of the closure. And then on this focal point right here, so the leather went all the way around to the necklace, came all the way through, and then came back again. That's what we're seeing here, is it went all the way through and then back again. So it came all the way through, threaded, knotted, threaded the jump rings on, knotted, and then attached the leather connector here, the ribbon and leather connector here, came back through and then attached it onto that end. So let me just show you the basics for learning how to use the ribbon and leather connectors, and you can make fun little projects like this. So to start, you'll have your different colors of the deerskin lace. This is very durable. This is harvested from western deer here in the United States. We have a variety of different colors. I'm working with the chocolate and the gray for this. And this, these are the examples of the ribbon end leather connectors. Here's the 3mm one and the 5mm one, and these come in a variety of different plates. We have a copper, a 24 karat gold, and a 0.99 fine silver. These are all solid brass pieces that are then plated with the finish to create this look. So in the example of this one right here, where I doubled up the leather, this is a good example to practice with. Just make a loop like you're seeing, like this. And then you'll need a pair of needle nose pliers. I preferably not with any kind of ridge inside here because it could easily mar the plating on the piece, so that's nice and smooth surface. Let's see, I'm going to work with a copper. So I have a copper ribbon connector. Let's move this out of the way so we can see really close up here. I'm threading, I'm pushing it through the so that the leather is completely attached, and it's in that little channel that you're seeing there. There's a side view. And I'm going to go ahead and not worry about this part because I can trim that away when I'm finished. Let's see. We're going to be trimming away both of the ends when we're finished on this one. You might want to double check that, you know, it's got the length that you want, and if it's not quite the length that you want, then you can move it up or down, whichever way you want. And then for the crimping of these, I start with one side of the ribbon and connector and then go to the other side of it. So squishing down very gently just to get it started. I'm pressing it in, and then I like to go back in and just double check that my leather is still flat and inside of that channel area. Then I'm going to turn it around. So I just crimped it slightly in on that one side. Now I'm crimping it onto the other side. Crimping it a little bit in on this side so you can see it's coming closer and closer. Pressing down a little bit more. And you can see I'm using this section of my pliers, not the very tip, not far down, but just about in this area right here to kind of give myself a nice flat area. And you can see it's coming together very nicely. I'm going to turn it again the other side. Crimp down on that side. You can squeeze it together this way to get it to come together a little bit closer. You see how I'm doing that? And then press down again. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get that a little bit more pressed down. And that is, as you can see, I kind of marred it up a little bit on this one, but it kind of makes it look nice and organic, matching the piece that's actually attached to it. So don't fret too much about that. And for trimming off the ends, I just bring my flush cutters right into the end right here and just trim away that excess. And as you can see on this one, you know, it's a little bit more of a blunt of a cut. So you can go back in with your needle nose pliers and trim that farther down if you like. You want to make sure that you don't get too close, that you trim away the edge of the ribbon and connector. Another way that you can use the ribbon connectors, the ribbon leather connectors, is by taking the loop, cutting the loop off and using it to connect the leather together just by crimping it down. And how we do that is you'll need your 5mm ribbon connectors and your 5mm deerskin lace. Just go ahead and fold this over. So if you imagine, this is where either the toggle clasp would be added to this loop, or you could put an an item on there, like a connector here. So I made a loop here. This is with the 3mm. But let's see, did I use that anywhere else here? Here it is. Actually, it has the loop still on it. But here, or let's see, here's another example of, you know, where it's just folded over and made a loop without the ring on it. So you'll need a pair of flush cutters to trim away the excess loop right here. So just hold that, cut it, do a second loop, so now you have a nice flush end there. And that can be kind of sharp, so if you have like an emery board or something, that you can just really lightly sand it. Just to make that end nice and smooth. And then you're ready to go. So you want to have your leather, make a nice loop, thread your leather into that, and it has that nice little jagged edge that kind of grips onto it nicely and keeps it locked into place. So now I've fed my leather in through that little channel, and you're ready to start using your pliers to crimp that down. Let's see if I can do this here. Sometimes when it's super thick like this, I might even use 2 pairs of these. One to hold this into position like this and hold it and crimp it down, and the other one to crimp it shut. And this is mainly just to get it started. So I'm crimping this side in slightly, turning and crimping the other side in slightly. Just to bring that down. Now I can move that first set of pliers out of the way. Crimp in, crimp down. Crimp in. And crimp down. I have a little bit of leather inside of there. You can just kind of move that out of the way. And you have a nice little flush. And then to get that little poker thingy down inside of there, just make sure that your leather is lined up correctly. And you can just squeeze that here. And then when that comes up like this, it'll go up into that leather piece there. So there's another way that you can use it, is by taking off the loop. And then for the excess here, you can either leave that there if you like to, or you can just trim it away with a pair of cutters or a pair of scissors. Just trim that excess away. And now you have a nice loop for attaching on a lobster clasp or attaching it onto a organic ring.